So as we all know, unfortunately, very well, the older generations have made a habit of shitting on millennials, and at this point, it's one of their favorite hobbies. It happens all the time. Well, a study recently came out that shows that that's a terrible idea. Millennials are way poorer than boomers ever were. A depressing new analysis found that young Americans today are making 20% less than baby boomers were at the same age. 20%. 20%. Here's what they say. Despite being the largest and best educated generation in the country, millennials are far worse off financially than baby boomers were, spelling out a troubling financial future for young people throughout their lifetime, according to a depressing new analysis from the advocacy group Young Invincibles. So they say, after looking at 2013 Federal Reserve data, so this is official data, for 25 to 34-year-olds and comparing it with the same age group back in 1989, the analysis found that millennials today are making a median income of around $40,000, a whopping 20% drop from what baby boomers were earning when they were just starting out. Baby boomers also had twice the number of assets than millennials have now. Wow. We've been seeing this trend develop in different ways over the past couple of years. Millennials are more burdened by student loans and less likely to own a home, choosing instead to move back in with their parents. Despite being well-educated, entering into the job market during one of the worst recessions since the Great Depression has resulted in lower starting wages, which could lead to an overall stunted standard of living. Now, by the way, they go on to say, as far as solutions go, the analysis offered some suggestions to policymakers like raising the minimum wage, offering paid family and medical leave, and providing more apprenticeships for middle-class jobs. So those are some potential solutions here. I would say a New Deal as well would be one of those things, and bringing back strong unions. But what's so funny is this stark reality with how Trump is talking about the economy, and the Republicans are pretending the economy is great, because they go, oh, look at stock market's up. And I told you every step of the way, that's not a good reflection of the health of average Joes and regular working people. It's a reflection of the rich. That's all that is. 80% of stocks are owned by the top 10% in the country. That's a reflection of the rich. That's a reflection of corporations. Corporate profits are at an all-time high. Wages are stagnant. So you can brag about the stock market till you're blue in the face, but the reality is people are struggling. And you had millennials graduate into an economy that's the worst since the Great Depression, biggest recession since the Great Depression. And it's resulted in lower starting wages. Now, furthermore, think about all the facts here. So we're making 20% less, millennials are. What does the older generation say? Lazy fucking kids, lazy. You know, you choosing to be lazy. Spend all your time doing things you shouldn't be doing, like video games and eating avocado toast and shit. Lazy. But what did I just tell you? The very first sentence. Despite being the largest and best educated generation in the country. So in other words, what did everybody tell you from the beginning of your life? Oh, just go to school, get an education, work hard, and then you'll be good. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just go, follow the path. You go to school, you work hard, when you graduate, you got the world by the balls. I just told you. Despite being the largest and best educated generation in the country, millennials are far worse off financially than baby boomers were. And then they turn around and they wonder, why do these young kids like Bernie Sanders so much? You guys broke the country. You spent $7 trillion on a war in Iraq, $2 trillion on a war in Afghanistan, $100 billion a year on 900 military bases all around the world, while our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. You crashed the fucking economy through neoliberalism and deregulation and tax cuts for the rich and corporations. You let corporations rig our government, rig our laws in favor of them and the rich, while you screw over working people. Unions are at an all-time low. Minimum wage isn't even a living wage. There's been a war on the middle class being waged since the 1980s. So you fucked everything up. And then you go, lazy. Lazy? We're the hardest working generation. more educated than every other generation. We did exactly what the fuck you told us to do, and we graduated into a broken system. So guess what? It's time to fucking fix that system. Instead of you guys, after you ruined everything, turning around and scolding us, get out of here. You broke the system. Now we're trying to fix the system. That's why young people are overwhelmingly left-leaning and they favor social democracy or democratic socialism. Because we realize, oh shit, it doesn't matter how individually successful you are and how hard you try individually. If we're the most educated generation, but we make 20% less, then maybe we don't live in a meritocracy. Maybe you actually have to have a rational system where you have equal opportunity and you have a social safety net that makes sense. Maybe we need Medicare for all, and we need free college, and we need a living wage, and we need strong unions to be able to collectively bargain on our behalf against the CEOs and the owner class that rigged the system from the beginning. So step aside. Stop shitting on us. Step aside. We're the most educated generation, and guess what? We also are the most left-leaning generation. What does that tell you? Tells you maybe those are the answers. Maybe we know what the fuck we're talking about politically. And maybe it's time for your corrupt generation to move along. Actually, that's not fair. Because there is somebody from your generation who we've decided should be the next president of the United States. I think you know who I'm talking about.